Howdy folks, Tom Barbalet here. You may remember me from such podcasts as those associated with Biota. I'm recording this audio just because I've gone on a long walk just a minute ago and was pondering the state of the art currently and how difficult it is to get meaningful information about certain things. And I find it even more difficult to find general information associated with what folks are doing hobbyist artificial life projects currently. The background for my searching is that I'm once again writing more text, potentially a book in the very near future, associated with the simulation I'm working on currently. And in large part due to a substantial amount of expunging from an alleged comedian who had $30 million in profits one year that I was trying to stop elements of this. The expunging of the internet of anything to do with the kinds of stuff we used to do and used to talk about on these podcasts is pretty well fulfilled, as far as I'm concerned. The simulation that I'm working on currently is about simulating London in 1940 to a very detailed level of resolution, and it's all open source, and my long-term friend Bob Mottram is contributing to it, so I'm very thankful for Bob's efforts. But it is something where I put out recently to the folks I knew on LinkedIn that the data set of London in 1940 was available. In fact, all the data sets that I create through this project are available, including the agent modeling and a variety of stuff. The thing that I'm looking for currently is associated with football hooliganism, which is in 2005, was a relatively important topic in England. And certainly at University of Leicester, I believe they had a department about football hooliganism. So I was looking for any open source or even any just discussion associated with the football hooliganist movements, the clubs, the fighting styles, these kind of things, with the view that some of those may predate the rise of the football clubs or may actually intersect perfectly with 1940. So, relatively specific topic, but just impossible to find any information about it. And I'm returning to the patron saint Danny Dyer, of all people, to provide something which, again, was from, I think, probably somewhere between the mid-90s and the mid-2000s. So it's a very strange experience trying to reconstruct something that was once there, and I often wonder if people who once wanted to find my simulation or who currently want to find my simulation work would have a similar problem, particularly because the search engine was paid off and all the related resources were paid off, and Wikipedia was paid off. I actually discovered more information about how people are paid quite comfortably to remove stuff from Wikipedia now, from a Wikipedia editor who was very kind to explain to me exactly what had happened. So the whole situation currently seems to be more associated with a kind of wintering of information. And if folks want to check out biota.org, I'll certainly give a plug for that site, because mysteriously I still get the statistics of biota.org. In fact, the whole movement has had to move away. So basically, we've all become independent, I guess. In any case, so I thankfully still have this audio feed. I was thinking, do I post to the Artificial Life mailing list or do I post to Biota directly? Do I post to this podcast feed that used to be affiliated with Biota directly? Well, I thought I'd post to the podcast feed. So if you're in a like-minded frame of mind, or if you just want to say, hey, Tom, I'm doing amazing work at this university. I was following the work at York recently. But if there are other universities that are doing great agent modeling stuff and are certainly worthy of my time and probably contact if they want large data sets associated with London in 1940, or they're just doing interesting stuff, please get in contact with me via email, barbalet@gmail.com. You might need to try to find the spell. Anyway, it's Bravo Alpha Romeo Bravo Alpha Lima Echo Tango @gmail.com. Please let me know. Similarly, if you're an independent person who's just found this podcast and love the podcast and wonder what happened to the movement in general and would just like to chat simulation sometime, please feel free to get in contact. I think if there's a broad enough interest, I might actually just record a few postscript podcasts. Might even call it that podcast. Anyway, some way of talking with other folk that are doing interesting work and want to talk about their interesting work. Just get a sense if there's actually a community out there still, because it seems kind of strange. Anyway, so this is Tom Barbalet. I'm now in Las Vegas, Nevada. I had two beautiful daughters about a year ago, which made it an easy excuse to throttle back a lot of the stuff that I was doing, but still mysteriously have to come back to those simulations, have to be tinkering away and working on them like they're some model railway or something. But I wanted to put some audio out just to see if there are any like-minded folk out there. So please hit me up on email if you are listening and you're like-minded and somehow you've managed to stay subscribed to this thing. And maybe we'll work out some way of just having discussions or something that go out, because that would be kind of nice at some stage. Anyway, Tom Barbalet in Las Vegas, Nevada, signing out.